Hey, read through the word. Today is July 13th, and today's lesson is called My Help. I think I did this last year. I have to go back and look. This is, I know I've told you, Psalm 40 is one of my favorite, but Psalm 121 is an absolute favorite of mine. I used to run a homeschool co-op, and this was the psalm. Our name was Help, Home Educators, and then my church name. And this was the psalm I picked for our name. How I named it was from this. And I just really love this psalm. So I want us to take a look. Specifically, I'm looking at Psalm 121, verse 1 and 2. It says, I look up to the mountains. Does my help come from there? No. It doesn't say no, but no. The answers it. That's a rhetorical question. My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. We're going to read the whole thing, so just continue with me. He will not let you stumble. The one who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel never slumbers or sleeps. The Lord himself watches over you. The Lord stands beside you as your protective shade. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon at night. The Lord keeps you from all harm and watches over your life. The Lord keeps watch over you as you come and go, both now and forever. As always, I tell you all the time, I know things in ESV because I spent so many years using ESV to teach from that things just, but I love this psalm. So let's talk for a little bit about it. So just to put this in perspective here, because we have all of these psalms right here in our reading. Psalms 120 through 134 are known as the Psalms of Ascent that were sung by Hebrew pilgrims on their way for the festivals, the pilgrimage festivals they had to take every year on their way to Jerusalem, or possibly while ascending the steps to the temple. So one for each step they had to ascend. Or I just think about that because remember, Jerusalem is the highest point in all of Israel, which you know the handy dandy map that I do with you. If you put Jerusalem is right about here. Jerusalem's the highest. So this is Israel. So if you've not watched that and you're trying to play catch up, let me remind you, this is the land of Israel, surrounded by 4 bodies of water that we need to remember: the Mediterranean Sea, the Red Sea, the Dead Sea, Sea of Galilee, and then a 5th one, the Jordan River, right here. So Jerusalem is right about here in the center of your palm. And it is the highest elevation in the entire land. So anytime you go to Israel, you're going up. Jesus, who lived in Nazareth, which would be right about here, and his center of ministry will be in Capernaum, which is at the top of the Sea of Galilee. He always talked about going up to Jerusalem because we go down because it's south, but go up because of elevation. So think about as they're marching with this psalm, and it talks about going up because they're going up to Jerusalem for their pilgrimage. So put that in perspective. That's what those are. I would say in this psalm, if I were marking it, and what would I do my word nerd stuff on? So today we're going to do word nerd. We're going to do word nerd on one word. And then you're like, you gave us homework yesterday, Lisa. Yeah, I know. You don't have to do it. It's a recommendation because some of you like to do these type of things. If you don't, that's fine. Do your reading, go on. But if you want some more, it's going to be assigned at the end or recommended at the end. I won't be checking. Oh, this is my school teacher. I'm going to be checking your homework, giving you a 0. No. So there's I would say 2 major keywords that will pop out to you as you read this short psalm. One of them is the word help. Help I would consider a key word in Psalm 121. And the word is ATE-ZUR is how you actually pronounce it, ATE-ZUR. And it's spelled Ezer. So all this will be in your notes. Is the Hebrew word that's used here. Now, we lose some of. All right, we're going word nerd. Let's go full nerd on this one. Okay, when we're talking about a Hebrew word, you don't translate from Hebrew into English. It's called a transliteration because you have to take it from the actual Hebrew alphabet, which doesn't have vowels, move it into English alphabet equivalent, and then translate into English. So sometimes there's words that just don't translate well. This is one of them, ATE-ZUR. We translate it as the word help, and we think like an assistant, a helper. No, don't do that. Don't do that. That's not what we mean. It's help. So the idea loses some of the meaning in when we go from transliteration to get over to it. It's not the idea of assist. It's not God is my co-pilot. It's not that. Because as we're going to look, the help, who is help? God. So it's not that. Help in Hebrew means to do for someone what they cannot do for themselves. So it's a stronger word than our idea of, hey, can you come help me? Or this is my helper. It's a stronger word. It's something you cannot do for yourself. Now, if we want to get an understanding of this word, we could go look and see where it's been used before. So, if we, so the way you would, some of you are really good with like Blue Letter Bible, StudyLight.org, Bible Hub. I think Bible Hub's the one Wendy really likes. And then some of you are like me. You grab the books. So I've got, I pulled out my Strongs and my Vines and did everything with books. So however you want to do this, I'm going to guide you through and give you the stuff, because then you're going to do it with another word on your own. So if we want to see where we find that word and we see where it was used the first time in the Bible. So where was the word ATE-ZUR used for the first time? It was actually used in Genesis chapter 2, and it's in 2 verses in the book of Genesis. It's in Genesis chapter 2, verses 16 and 18. So let's go there. And it says this: And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, oh no, wrong verse. Okay, go to 18, not 16. 18. Then the Lord God said, It is not good that a man should be alone. I will make him a helper fit for him. And then there's one other, it's right in there. I don't have time to, let's see. Helper for him now formed Erlen Gretcher, the man came livestock. And found okay, there was no helper, so it's 20. 18 and 20 are your 2 uses of ATE-ZUR. Now, here's something else to add on to that. The use of ATE-ZUR here is actually a word called ATE-ZUR kenegdo. ATE-ZUR kenegdo. It's the only time in the Bible it's used here to describe. So the only time the Bible uses the word ATE-ZUR that does not describe God is used to describe Eve. So, and if ATE-ZUR, the help, is used to describe God, then hadn't we weakened how it was used to describe Eve? Just something to think about. Here we go. So, ATE-ZUR kenegdo, originally in Hebrew, means to rescue, to save, and to be strong. ATE-ZUR is used 21 times in the Old Testament. It's used twice for the woman. It's used for nations for military aid when they need help, ATE-ZUR, 3 times. For God, it's used 16 times. That's it for the book, for that word in the Old Testament. So, and two of those Old Testament usages for God are in Psalm 121 that we're looking at today. So, here's the thing. If Yahweh is the only other character, I don't like to use the word character, person called an ATE-ZUR, through the word ATE-ZUR, we understand what God is doing by creating Eve is providing for humanity what it cannot do for itself. So when you look at the creation account, you're looking at God saying that everything is tov. Everything is tov, good. And then you get to, and he says when man is alone, that it is lo tov, not good, not ra, which is evil. So this idea of what God does is God has assigned a calling onto humanity. Adam is unable to do it alone. He needs Eve. It's like having a right hand and a left hand. Try to wash your hand. You can't do it. You need both. Doesn't make right hand better than the left. Or that's backwards. It doesn't make one better than the other. It doesn't mean one is weaker. It means that God has provided for humanity that which humanity cannot do on its own. Man, the southern accent. God has provided ATE-ZUR, kenegdo. That God comes beside us in our helplessness and provides that which we need to no longer be helpless, unable to do. This idea to rescue, to save, God enabled Adam to do what he needed to do, what God called him to do, but he couldn't do on his own. He needed God to provide a way for him to do it. So this idea of help is so much bigger than what we're making, and that's just looking through that account. So if you were to go and look at all the other uses of God as help, Yahweh ATE-ZUR is probably how you'd see it used. David uses it that way, but in the Psalms. But what we're looking at in this psalm is God's providential care for his people. And it's celebrated because what God does is God saves them at every turn. Every place they could be at their own destruction, God comes in as ATE-ZUR, as help and rescues and saves. So we see that in the Genesis account of what God does, but we also see that here. This idea of God as our helper doesn't mean God. So we'll go back to what I said at the beginning. It doesn't mean God is my co-pilot. It's so much stronger and richer than that. If we were to understand what it truly means that he is my help. He is the only way I make it. Without him, I am done. That is the strength of this word. And I hope that's helped, as we use help. I hope this helps you, enables you to understand this word better. And take a look. Go dig some more on your own. So, here's your other word. I didn't have time to do 2 words. I wanted to do both. Didn't have time to do them because look at what all ATE-ZUR did with us. I want you to go chase the word keep. So, because you're going to see keep come in at the end. Keep is used quite a few times. You see help, keep. So look at keep. Go look it up, see what it means, and see what you can find out. And let me know in the comments. I want to hear from you. So we'll see you next time on Read Through the Word. you.